السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, it's a pleasure to be here for this meeting of Rehbar. I have been, Sharif Bhai is very close and dear friend of mine for, I don't know, I think we should celebrate some silver jubilee or something. We've been friends for over 25 years. And alhamdulillah, it's an honor to be his friend. And I've seen this Rehbar growing literally from the first day. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them great success and make them a source of khair and barakah for all of us, inshaAllah. I think I'm not here to promote them, but the simple thing I want to say to you and I say to myself is that to me, the number one criterion of whether to invest with somebody or not is credibility. Do you believe the people? As simple as that. It's not because of any financial return arguments or any financial return calculations. Do you believe the person? Do you trust the people? And alhamdulillah, with Allah as my witness, I can say that Shaykh Kotapurat, I trust with my life and my iman. Alhamdulillah. So why an ethical system? Very simple answer to why an ethical system is because we are all in the same boat. Every single one of us, we don't live on an island, we don't live on another planet. We are all in the same boat. What happens to one will happen to the other, whether we like it or not. I want to start with this wonderful quote of Paulo Coelho, who says that if you want to be successful, you must respect one rule: never lie to yourself. I think this is a very important thing to understand, not only in terms of ethical finance and business and so on, but in life itself. Never lie to yourself. A book that I strongly recommend, and I'm going to share with you a couple of books that I think are absolutely required reading, is this book of Frederick Bastiat called The Law. And one of his quotes, he says that when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men, and he's saying men, but it includes women, sadly, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. And may Allah have mercy on us. I believe this is exactly what we are seeing today at a global level. We are seeing a legal system that authorizes plunder and a moral code that glorifies it. And this is one of my quotes, and I say that wealth is not a matter of life and death. It's a matter far more important than life and death, because it determines what happens after death. How we earn and where we spend will go into our graves with us. And that's the reason why, as Maulana Khalid Saifullah Rahmani Sahib said, to earn halal and to spend halal, this is something which is not only beneficial for all of society, irrespective of whether they are Muslim or not, it is something which directly impacts us individually when we go before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is the meaning of wealth and why is this important? Let me give you some data. I'm addicted to data. I look at I look at a lot of stuff. You see here, I've given you a list of prominent countries and their GDP and compared that with the market cap of business organizations. Privately owned business organizations. Take the GDP of India, 4.19 trillion. Take the market cap of Nvidia, 4.58 trillion. One company, their wealth exceeds the GDP of a country of our size, which has 1.5 billion people in it, the subcontinent. And the other numbers. And the point is that is the reason why ethical business is critical. Because we are simply talking about far more power than you can imagine. Imagine what kind of power the CEO of NVIDIA wields. It's not about money. It's no longer about money. When you have that level of money, it's all about power. At a certain level, you wonder about what kind of car should I buy, what kind of house. When you are running a company with 4.58 trillion, you have actually more assets in your control than the head of a nation. Right? That is why it's so important for ethics and values. Now look at data. Again, take these 4 billionaires, Musk, Ellison, Zuckerberg, and Bezos. Compare their wealth over a period of about 15-16 years. Musk went from 2 billion to 486 billion. Larry Ellison 23 to 370, Zuckerberg from 1.5 to 245, Bezos from 1.6 to 233, and I don't know whether that's pre-divorce or post-divorce. I mean, imagine. People have the man as an icon. For what? Seriously, ask this question. You have the man as an icon, why? Where I live in the US, I had a masjid, a big masjid there. It's the biggest masjid in western Massachusetts. And I asked, in one of my khatiras, I asked a whole bunch of youngsters who were there, and all of them from families who are practicing Muslims. They come to the salah at least once a day, many times, many of them more than that. I said, name for me 3 icons, 3 people who are your role models. This is in the masjid, in the khatira. Imam is asking the question to the Muslims. Guess who they named? Abu Bakr and Omar and Uthman and Ali? No. Elon Musk? Jeff Bezos? Bill Gates? The culture is extremely powerful. Make no mistake. Now, while this wealth of the billionaires is increasing in this magnitude, see what's happening to the minimum wage. And this is American figures. People don't get this minimum wage here. They might get $7.25 for the whole day. You're talking here about minimum wage $7.25 per hour. From 2009 to 2025, the minimum wage does not increase. Why? Because billionaires run the world. Now, that's why I'm saying that enormous wealth, which gives enormous power, without guardrails, is a recipe for disaster. And the guardrails are ethics and morals. We are living in a time of history where perhaps so much wealth in the hands of so few has never happened before. Today, 8 white men, their collective wealth is more than the collective wealth of 50% of the world population. Their collective wealth is more than the collective wealth of 4 billion people. 8 people. 8 people can fit into one SUV. Right? You got a 6-seater, you got the driver, you got 1 seat free. Now, why is all this important? Because when money is the goal, ROI, return on investment, reigns supreme. Return on investment as understood by billionaires. I want you to think about this. When you look at your return on your investment, are you thinking dollars and cents? Are you thinking rupees and paisa? Or are you thinking something else? I go for a walk every morning after Salatul Fajr. When I come back, I see the streets are being swept. And I am from Hyderabad. I've seen this from the time I was born, literally. Streets are swept by street sweepers. Now, obviously, instant thought in my mind, maybe there are 100 street sweepers here from where KBR Park, and you go all the way down to, say, Masab Tank or something. All you need is one truck. Which is how it's done in the United States. One truck, which has rotary brushes, and it has a vacuum. All you do is drive the truck and the street is gone. Why do we need 100 people? What's the answer? The answer is no, you don't need 100 people. Can a truck do that job? Absolutely. But what will also happen? I'm talking about ROI, return on investment. What will also happen? 100 families starve. You don't sweep the street. How many of you are street sweepers here? Anybody? Do you think the job is important or not important? Important. Because if the street is not swept, you're going to have filthy streets. But none of you is a street sweeper. Why? Because you can do something else, right? You are trained to do something other than street and sweeping streets. So you got a bunch of people now who have no other skills, but that street sweeping feeds his family. It sends his children to school. He gets sick, he buys medicine from that. One truck will solve all of that. So what is ROI? Now, who will that kind of a truck belong to? I don't know how much wealth you have here, but I'm not sure any of you can directly buy a truck like that on your own. Maybe you can, who knows, may Allah give you more wealth. So one truck bought by a wealthy person will generate revenue for him and put 100 families on the street. So my question to you is, when you are thinking ROI, return on investment, what are you thinking? Now my point is here that enormous wealth, as I mentioned to you, gives enormous power. And I began with saying what? Why is ethical business important? Because it affects everybody. We are all in the same boat. So if you have a bunch of people who have an enormous power and no guardrails, and they can use the power as they want, who's going to suffer? Everybody. That's why you need an ecosystem, because you can't grow rice in the desert. Without the ecosystem, without the value system, you will not be able to have ethical business, because it won't support that. When everybody is just thinking money, 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 without any other consideration, you will get money. But you will get money at a cost which everyone else will have to bear. Why do you think these billionaires have enormous underground bunkers, fantastically equipped with all sorts of stuff? Why? Does it show concern for the people? So let me give you an example of why the thinking is different. There's an article of mine called Democracy and the Corporation, so read it and post your comments on it. I've compared these two things because I work also with governments and I also work with corporations. And I've been working with corporations for the last 40 years. In a corporation, the corporation, incidentally, people talk about this family and that family, that's complete garbage, believe me. Right? That's only good for your PR value. Corporations, the leader has absolute authority. And the leader is never elected. Have you ever heard of a manager, forget about the leader, have you ever heard of a manager being elected in a company? Is the CEO elected or appointed? So where's democracy? They all like to talk about democracy. Where's democracy? The corporation is the most dictatorial model of governance that exists. Absolute authority. There is a master plan for everyone to which they must align. And if you don't align, what happens to you? You're fired. Simple as that. Inequality, ranks, and aspirational. And that's why they even have these ridiculous things of senior vice president. What does he mean? He's an old man? They have all these ridiculous designations because some feeling of I am superior to somebody else. In one corporation, I told them, why don't you name the sweeper vice president sanitation? Oh, he's still doing the same job. So inequality is respected, is expected, and is aspirational. And people in a corporation are what? Consumers or employees? When a corporation downsizes, who do they fire? The board? Top management? Or the lowest people? The workers? Who do they fire? Who should they fire? My point is, if my organization has too many people, did they just simply walk through the door and start working? Or did I hire them? See, if I hired them and I hired too many people, and we suddenly discover one morning we wake up and say, oh, we have too many people. Okay, good. So who should you fire? The first person to be fired should be who? The one who hired them. Have you ever heard of that? Never. Now come to another one. When you are working for a corporation, can you work till the rest of your life? Till you die? No. There is a retirement age. And the retirement age is for who? For the employees. I advise family businesses. And I tell them, put an expiry date on your chairman. Put a retirement date on your chairman. Because you have old men who are running the company and their sons are wonderful people. They make dua for their father every day. Ya Allah, give my father Jannah. Ya Allah, give my father Jannah. Ya Allah, give my father Jannah. Right now, today. Because there's no way I'm going to sit in this chair unless he gets Jannah. Ya Allah, give him Jannah. I said this once. I told her, do you know your sons are making dua for you? He said, no, they're very nice. Yeah, sure. This is what they're making for you. Give you Jannah today. Expiry dates. You get sick, what happens? You get sick leave. Your sick leave days expire, what happens? That happens. The door happens. Yes or no? Now let's come to how a nation, somebody who is running a nation as they should run a nation. Number one, citizens participate in leadership. They elect leaders. And opposition, healthy opposition is a sign of a healthy democracy. When opposition disappears, the democracy becomes a dictatorship. Healthy opposition. I'm not talking about somebody who is creating havoc. No, healthy opposition. Very important in a democracy. It's encouraged. Equality and freedom are sacred and they are respected, and dissent is encouraged. Completely opposite from cooperation, right? And third one is, in a nation, everyone must be cared for. Old people, young people, children, women, sick people. You have a healthcare system. But we say it doesn't matter. You don't have to be productive to be a citizen, and it's the responsibility of the nation to take care of you. But in a corporation, the minute you are not productive, out. So if you have billionaires running a nation, what do you expect? People give this very bleakly. I mean, this is why I say people think. They give this wonderful example. Oh, see the president of Singapore. He calls himself a CEO. That's the worst bad news you can get. Seriously. If a head of a nation calls himself a CEO, what is he really saying? He's saying, I am a dictator. You obey me or else. My way or the highway. We come to technology. Today we live in a world where everybody thinks technology is the best thing that happened to mankind, right? Think about this. We all have smartphones. We all have social media. You all use social media. Who's getting rich? You or the people who own the social media companies? People spend on an average 6 to 8 hours. These are I didn't dream this up. This is statistically valid data. 6 to 8 hours a day on social media. Tell me, what do you call something on which you spend 6 to 8 hours a day? What's the word for it? What do you call it? Job. Exactly, job, right? Something you're spending 6 to 8 hours a day is called a job. Now, when you're doing a job, what do you get? What's it called? Salary. So you are spending 6 to 8 hours a day on social media. Who's paying you? So you're dumb or what? Seriously. You are kissing goodbye to 6 to 8 hours of your life every single day so that the fish can get wealthy and he can buy one more super yacht. Are you dumb or what? I'm not even going into the problems of social media addiction and all of the rest of it. All of that is bonus for you. Just 6 to 8 hours a day you are spending on something, you are giving your life, which is making that man billions upon billions upon billions. The only reason he's making it is because you have your face in your phone. No other reason. See how technology affects us? So technology only makes the owners more wealthy. Think about, I told you, how do you calculate ROI? Somebody comes and tells me, Amazon has this warehouse which is the size of 20 football fields. And in it, there are goods and there are things. There are like 50 million individual items. And they are stacked and this and that and the other. And there's not a single human being. It's all run by AI agents. What's that? Robots. Fantastic. Brilliant. What do you eat? What will you do? Exactly. Who's getting rich? Bezos or you? But who's making this stuff? Oh wow, you know what? Technology. Look at the world today. You are against AI. I'm not against AI. I love AI because I'm sitting on top of the pile. I advise them. I don't care. Doesn't affect me. My point is that if you create a system in which you define ROI as return on investment for the capitalist, for the billionaire, you must necessarily remove the human beings from that equation. Otherwise, you are losing money. If there is a man or a woman, they get sick, they get pregnant, they have children, they have health issues, If I have a robot, if I have a man or a woman, they can't work all day, they have to be given rest. If I got a robot, works 24/7. If it breaks down, I throw it out, I get a new one. Period. Work stop with 5 minutes. May not even be that much. So technology trap is to understand what technology does. They talk very glibly about retraining. In America, there are 5 million truck drivers who drive the I'll show you a picture of that, who drive the, multi-wheel, multi-axle trucks. Right? That's a picture of one of them. There's a friend of mine who drives that. It has 50 wheels, 25 axles, and carries a payload of 275,000 tons. Not tons, pounds. When he drives, he takes 2 lanes, not one. And the police escort in front of him and behind him. That's what the inside of the machine looks. That's what the driving cab looks. Like a plane cockpit. Right? Now, that guy makes around $100,000 a year. He drives across America. He makes around $100,000 a year. Now, you come to the issue of technology. So I can say to you that Elon Musk has invented or will invent a self-driving truck, which will do all of this. Plus, this guy needs to sleep, this guy needs a break, he has to stop somewhere to eat, to go to the bathroom or something. That self-driving truck will drive 24/7, no problems. This guy might sleep and have an accident, self-driving truck has no accident because it's got sensors all over, blah, 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 all kinds of technology, right? He can get lost, that thing will not get lost, it's got on GPS, it's connected to satellites. So what shall we do with this guy? Or we'll retrain him. Fantastic. Brilliant idea. What will you train him to do which will earn him $100,000 a year? If you're going to retrain him to make sandwiches, it won't help him because he's earning $100,000 a year. He's feeding his family, he's living in a house like that, he's got children going to schools and blah, 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 whatnot. You will retrain him to do what? He is driving an extremely complex machine. That machine, I have sat in this thing, in the cab. This one, he parks it, he parallel parks it, he reverse parks it faster than I can park a small little car. Just like this, huge thing, 50 wheels. Right? Highly skilled guy, very, very super skilled, super specialized. You will retrain him to do what? There are 5 million in the US. Multiply that by 5 for family size, 25 million people in the US alone. In India, it will be much more than that. Replace all those trucks with self-driving trucks? That many people on the street. And who makes the money? The people who own the self-driving trucks, not the drivers. And that's why I'm suggesting you do 3 things. Mandatory reading. 1984, George Orwell. Read this book. Brave New World, written in 1932 by Aldous Huxley. He talks about technology, 1932. And this film is a documentary called 4 Horsemen. Please watch that. Sit with your whole family. This should be mandatory reading and watching for every single one of you. Then you will understand the economic system that runs. And then you will understand the reason for ethical investment. So, what must happen? Last few slides. First and foremost, it must change in our heads. The single most powerful change to transform the world is to move from the world is responsible for me to I am responsible for the world. This mental shift This switch has to happen in our minds. Then, the change that we need is enormous. It is global. So what must happen? Number one, get all parties to accept their responsibilities. The billionaires, the people who have and the people who have not, everyone. Secondly, constantly speaking and talking to people, not only in seminars like this, mashallah, this is good, but individually about why ethical business is critical, and not just talking, but by actually doing ethical business. Don't take bribes, don't give bribes. And don't give bribes and tell me, oh, why you see, we have to do it. Nobody has to do anything. Nobody has to do anything. Very simple. If you are forced to do something which Allah made haram, walk away. Because Allah is your razik, that thing is not your razik. And if you think that you can give bribes and take bribes and stand before Allah and say, I had to do it, good luck to you. Holistic education, where ethics and values and morals are part of the education, to create a generation which will change the whole system. Total transformation about how we raise children. The biggest problem, especially with Muslims, is the lack of parenting. That must change. And then, you got to put your money where your mouth is. Commit the time, commit the energy, commit the funds. Ethical investment is critical, and I'm talking to the high net worth individuals here. You know, the key change that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made when he brought Islam in Makkah. He just made one change, one small change, switch in the mind. Focus on the dunya to focus on the akhirah. That's it. And therefore, it changed the definition of the HNI, the high net worth individual, from Abu Lahab to Abu Bakr, Siddiq radiallahu anhu. High net worth individual, one who has money. Post-Islam, high net worth individual, one who has character, one who has taqwa. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. That is what we have to do now. So, redefine your role. High net worth individual is the one who benefits the most people. Make yourself a benefactor. Give and give and give. Because when you give, you create a vacuum. When you create a vacuum, wealth will come to you. You don't get by holding in your hands. If you're holding in your hands can't hold anything more. Because they already have stuff in it. Open it. Number two, redefine ROI. Return on investment. I gave you all the examples. I won't repeat myself. ROI cannot be just money. ROI has to be welfare of the whole community. How is my wealth benefiting other people? Number three, redefine assets. I tell people the word charity, remove it from your mind. Two words, remove them. Charity and sacrifice. To remove them. दीन के लिए कुर्बानी करो, बिल्कुल मत करो. बिल्कुल मत करो. क्योंकि हो ही नहीं सकती. कुर्बानी किसको बोलते हैं? कुर्बानी उसको बोलते हैं जबकि आपने अपनी चीज, दो चीजें कुर्बानी करने के लिए दो चीजें लाजिम है. एक, आपकी मिल्कियत. आई ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश, डोंट वरी. आपकी मिल्कियत. मैं शरीफ साहब का घर आपके कुर्बान नहीं कर सकता, उनका घर है. आपकी मिल्कियत चाहिए. दूसरा, जब मैं इसको दूं तो इस पे मुझे कोई भी इसकी एवज में कुछ नहीं मिलना चाहिए. For something to be a sacrifice, there are two conditions. Number one, you must own the thing which you are sacrificing. I cannot sacrifice your house or your wealth. Number one, I must own it. Number two, I must not get any return for what I have given. If I am getting a return, I can't say I sacrificed my car for $1 million. You sold it. You didn't sacrifice it. Right? Now apply this to what we do in the name of Islam or anything. That's why the poet said, जान दी हुई उसी की थी, हक तो ये है कि हक अदा ना हुआ. आप क्या कुर्बानी करोगे? आपका है, माल आपका है, इल्म आपका है, जान आपकी है. आप कुर्बानी कर, और क्या कुर्बानी आप कर रहे हो? उसने तो कहा मन जा बिल हसनती फलहु अश्रु अमसालिहा. एक देगा तो 10 दूंगा, उससे कम तो दे भी नहीं सकते. अल्लाह तबारक व तआला उससे कम तो देते ही नहीं है. आप जाओ बोले अल्लाह मुझे एक ही चाहिए, नहीं मिलेगा, 10 ही मिलेगा, 10 ही मिलेगा. और वो तो बिल्कुल अदना दर्जे पे 10 मिलेगा. और फिर आपने फरमाया कि एक का तो 700 देंगे, और वो भी तुम्हारी समझ के लिए दे रहे, वरना युदाइफु लिमन यशा, हम तुम्हारी शान के मुताबिक देंगे बिना गिने के. गिनते तो तुम हो. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives 1:10. Which sacrifice? Remove this. अगर कभी आपने किसी भी बयान में कोई किसी ने लफ्ज़ कुर्बानी का इस्तेमाल किया तो आप उसको टोक दीजिए फौरन. कहीं मौलाना ये गलत लफ्ज़ है, बिल्कुल खत्म कर दिए. कोई कुर्बानी नहीं है, इन्वेस्टमेंट है, इन्वेस्टमेंट है, सरमायादार है. या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू हल अदुल्लुकुम अला, किसने लफ्ज़ तिजारत इस्तेमाल किया? तिजारतिन तुंजिकुम मिन अज़ाबिन अलीम. तिजारत किसको बोलते हैं? बयो शरा, जो आप खरीदते बेचते हो. Change the definition. When you are giving in the path of Allah, you are only transferring your own money from your own account in the dunya to your own account in the akhirah. Nothing else. Hasn't gone to anybody else. My own account, I have it in this pocket. I'm taking it out, putting it in this pocket. This pocket will finish, this pocket will remain. وَمَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَضُ وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. Transfer of, that's it. Assets from perishable. So take your perishable assets, make them permanent. And final point, develop entrepreneurship. This is what Rehbar does. Develop entrepreneurship. Because the entrepreneur takes care of the whole of society. Not the big multinationals. They don't care. The small entrepreneur, he takes care of the people around it. Support them. You will create a society which is powerful and which takes care of itself. Finally, anyone who thinks things are very difficult, blah, 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 I always say this. There are two kinds of people in the world. Those who look for ways to succeed and those who tell you why they couldn't succeed. That's our choice. That's my website. You can go look, read the articles and stuff on it. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.